Welcome back, guys. This is Preston Blake. It's an Area Forge here, and it's episode 12 for the Gamecast. So it's been a while, but we are back, and I have a new special guest with me and another fellow Guardian. It's his first time on the show, and this is Nick. Nick, thanks for joining us, and just wanted to ask you exactly what you're playing at the moment, and we're going to talk about a couple things like the Destiny 2 scene. What was it? The
Lightfall campaign.
Yeah, the Lightfall. Yeah, I can't remember the
reveal,
name. Yeah, the DLC that's coming out, and Cade 6 is back. Don't know how, but we're gonna get into that. And a couple highlights from the PlayStation Showcase. I know it's a lot that they showed, but not a lot of, I guess, hype. At least stuff that I'm into. A lot more indies than usual. More on the Xbox Showcase side. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, taking notes off each other or what, but we're gonna get into that. But for now, what have you been playing lately? Like, what you been up to?
A lot of my time is taken up by Warframe and Destiny 2. Got about 5,000 hours in Warframe and 2,000 in Destiny.
Jesus.
Don't do much else. I'll be honest. It's a problem. I need help. But the stuff that's been coming from Bungie has been okay. Lightfall was kind of mid, I'll be honest, but the gameplay was okay. The story was the real tanker for the whole expansion. It was a real shame.
Been hearing a lot about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy how Bungie can like tank and do well, but so many people are still playing hours on hours in on that game consistently. But yeah, it's almost like a World of Warcraft at this point.
Yeah, it's gotten real big, and it's sad because the seasons that came before Lightfall, they were great. They just kept going higher and higher, and then we hit Lightfall, and it just nosedives straight down.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't finished Lightfall. Especially after doing the first two missions and then hearing a bunch. I think I took a little break off of it, doing something else. I got sidetracked it like I normally do. But after hearing my friend and you and everyone else talk about how bad the campaign is and how much they flopped it, it didn't motivate me to finish it any sooner. So yeah, I kind of just put it in the back burner. I play some strikes here and there when I do jump on Destiny. Or, you know, I guess, not the dungeon, but the anniversary stuff that you helped me with, all because of the Halo equipment, of course. But yeah, I'll finish Lightfall when I get to it pretty much. Don't know when, but I'll see. But speaking of Lightfall, the fall of Lightfall, if you will, the Cade 6 trailer for, what was the DLC called again?
It was Final Shape. That's what they're going with.
Final Shape. I'm hoping it's... I mean, I thought Lightfall was going to be the end game for this arc, this saga of the light and darkness, but I guess they bamboozled everyone and tricked us into...
The funny thing about that is Lightfall wasn't supposed to exist. There was a rumor going around that Strand was supposed to come out with Witch Queen, and then we jumped straight into Lightfall. But because they had to do all of the reworks of the old subclasses, they pushed Strand off to the year after Witch Queen, and they just kind of cobbled together Lightfall from essentially nothing.
Yeah, I heard that Strand was supposed to be introduced in the Witch Queen. That one I did play and finish. I actually enjoyed that one, but I think that was probably the last good DLC they came out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the... What was it? The Cade 6, the Final Shape. Hoping that this is the end game for this saga now. At least this part of the arc of the story. I don't know how they're gonna explain Cade 6 being back. I haven't played the season so far. Season of the Deep, I think they call it. I started the first mission on it, even though I didn't finish Lightfall, but I know there's like sub stories and all in between it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna do some Dragon Ball Z shit and bring a something to revive Cade Ghost, or how they... I guess actually no. Does it? Who's the Titan in Season of the Deep that they introduced in the
Sloane.
beginning?
Yeah, she was
Sloane.
back in D2 Year 1, and
Okay.
Titan got taken by the main big bad guy, and it just came back out of the darkness.
So I'm starting to think that they might do somewhat of a similar number on Cade 6, even though Cade 6 was completely like destroyed in the
So, about that, at the end of
okay.
Lightfall, the witness carves out a triangle, which is the one you see at the end of the reveal. Carves out a portal in the Traveler, and at the end of the reveal, that's actually the inside of that portal you see.
Okay.
So people are thinking that since Cade is inside the Traveler without his ghost, because his ghost is nowhere to be seen in the trailer, his ghost is still dead. They're thinking that it's some transcendent space where guardians who have their ghost killed go. So,
Is that the same space? Because I've seen a trailer of, I think, Season of the Deep, where there was a Titan that was like fused with its ship in pieces, like mixed up pieces and stuff like that.
yeah, the final shape reveal obviously comes after Season of the Deep, but the intro to Season of the Deep has essentially the main characters flinging guardians into the entrance that was carved into the Traveler, and they're just coming back out mangled messes, fused with their ship and just mutilated.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty weird and cool.
Next couple seasons we'll probably see them have more success with that, and then obviously Final Shape comes because Ikora is in the Traveler now.
Ikora? Oh wow.
She was in the trailer. She was in the Final Shape trailer talking to Cade.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was. In that, so where they were talking, you're telling me that's in the in that weird space, or that's not a normal.
Inside the Traveler or on the other side of the portal that was carved into it. So
okay, I didn't know that. Well, of course I wouldn't, but yeah, that's cool. That's pretty different. It's pretty unique. Yeah, I thought they were gonna do some cheesy stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but I was speculating that they're gonna do something cheesy like how they did with the Titan in the beginning of the Season of the Deep. But, yeah, it's pretty cool, weird, and somewhat darker than I normally see Destiny go when it comes to like the deformed stuff and fused with the ship. It's pretty cool. Of course, they're not going to show any blood ever. Of course not. They want to keep as many players as possible, of course, in their fan base. But you know, that's something I'm looking. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to. Just a little. I'm a little curious on where that goes next because I am, even though out of all desperate measures of content seeking, I am kind of happy to see Cade back because he was the only source of comedic relief in the game. But in all seriousness, the Witch Queen, what was it? What was the last DLC Cade 6 was in that he died in? I forgot. Forsaken?
Yeah, he died in Forsaken.
Yeah, it seems like after Forsaken finished, all the things that came out after was just very much more on a serious note, which is no problem with that as long as they do it right. And I feel like Witch Queen is the last thing they did right on that serious story, for lack of a better term, that they kept continuing with. But yeah, Destiny is I guess it has a lot to make up for with the Lightfall disappointment for a lot of hardcore Destiny fans. But yeah, we'll see.
And the seasons that followed after Witch Queen, they had really great story beats, like the little bite-sized chunks you get in the seasonal stories.
Yeah.
But as soon as Lightfall hit, all that talent that they were flexing in the seasons and in Witch Queen apparently got fired because Lightfall's story was honestly awful. The writing, the voice acting in some cases were just almost inexcusable.
Damn. Ain't never good to hear anything about any type of layoffs, even if this is for the quote unquote right reasons, but there's never a right reason for anybody to lose their job, especially for some writings, put them somewhere else at least. But yeah, that is crazy. But hopefully Destiny recovers, and I don't know, I guess they need a change of format. I don't know, with the teams, I guess. I don't know why it's always an up and down stock train with Destiny, because it's literally like looking at stocks when it comes to the fan hate and love for the game.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on, before I go into the PlayStation showcase highlights, I did want to mention that as far as what I was playing before last night with Diablo 4 early access and Street Fighter 6 coming out midnight, I've been on Star Citizen. I'm only saying it like this is because the game is, like I just said about Destiny, looking like stocks. Star Citizen is the same way for me. Guilty pleasure playing it, but can barely stand the freaking bugs and stuff that happens with the server issues, because it's the Free Fly weekend that just finished. That was for the whole week. Of course, a lot of people started coming in on the servers, like a huge influx of numbers and stress on the servers. So there's like some days I can play it, some days I can't. But for those of you who play Star Citizen, of course, I'd expect you know what I'm talking about. But it's still a fun game when it works, and that's the problem. It doesn't work all the time. Now, speaking of Destiny, I'm just now realizing, but hearing that Destiny is similar in a way, and I didn't even know, because it's the fact that I barely play Destiny. When I do, it's always the servers are okay. I never knew it had server issues either on like Friday or Saturday nights when there's a lot of people playing. So that's new to know. But yeah, Star Citizen is it's gonna remain a guilty pleasure until they get their server meshing in, and we'll see what happens when it comes to the new technology for everything to be fixed in the servers, at least when that server meshing technology hits, whenever end of the year or next beginning of the new year. I don't know, but I'll see. Other than that, Diablo 4 only played like 20-30 minutes of it. No, I played like an hour yesterday, and I could tell I didn't want to get off, but yeah, I had to force myself off of that, and then play like a half an hour Street Fighter 6. So nothing much to say on that, but I played the beta and it was pretty good with the World Tour mode. The single player aspect of the game. It's the first time it's not open world, hub-based worlds. Story, you could walk around and pick a fighter from the Street Fighter Legacy, a character, and have them train you and get some of their moves and change it around. It's a lot of stuff. I think it's like the Yakuza of Street Fighter. Well, the other way around. But yeah, it's definitely something new for the fighting game industry, and a lot to look forward to in the future with the DLCs, of course. But of course, that Capcom is going to monetize the shit out of that. I'm not too hyped to look forward to that, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be harder to earn in-game currency to get character outfits and levels and stuff like that, like Street Fighter 5. Who knows? I hope not, but companies are hungry, even though Capcom's been doing very well so far. But enough about Street Fighter, since that just came out. Moving on to the PlayStation Showcase. So I'll let you pick out which game from what you've seen that you're more interested in, and let me know your thoughts on that game, because they have a lot of games, and they have a lot of indie games.
Yeah,
there's a lot of indie games. I think half of the showcase was indie games, honestly, and certain games that we already knew that was coming out. But out of the games you've seen so far, what was any games that like pretty much scratched that itch for you, of interest?
I really enjoyed the showcases for Immortals of Avenum. It kind of gave me shooter vibes, but with magic. And there's
Okay.
one scene in there where he's grabbing a vial of something out of like a shrine, I guess. It gave me very, very vivid BioShock vibes.
Yeah,
Just
it.
with the arm and everything and the vial being out. Wonder
Yeah,
if they're gonna pull from BioShock a little bit from with that.
it seems like a mix of that and more Call of Duty with magic.
Yeah.
It's heavy on the first person shooting stuff, so it's not something we see every day or even probably at all. Honestly, I've never seen a game like this before. Mixing the first person shooting mechanics, and it looks tight, but that's only looks. I don't know until I play it. It looks
Yeah.
tight. For
It
a spell casting.
could easily go the same way as Anthem, trying something new and falling completely flat.
There you
But
go.
I'm
Yep.
hoping it comes out swinging.
Yeah, I don't. I said this about Forspoken, and I was right about it. But it's either gonna be a big hit or a big miss. I don't see a happy medium in between that game. It looks too different and unique for it to be just a medium. But we'll see. I'm stoked for that too. Um, and that's the EA originals. Yeah, it's the EA. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's EA originals. I don't know the exact name of the studio. I just know the publisher. It's definitely EA. So EA's been.
Ascendant something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Ascendant Interactive.
I don't think I've heard of them before, but I've probably seen their games if they have made a
Ascendant
couple.
Studios.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never heard of them before, but they could be a studio of people that came from other studios we've known, or I don't know if they're new or old, but yeah, they look like they're pulling together something unique so far. But as far as studios go, I don't know who's doing Phantom Blade, but that game has me stoked for it, and that's the samurai game. I don't know if you took quick.
That was my number 2.
No, okay. Yeah, that game looks incredible animation wise and graphics, but mainly animation. Because at first impressions I thought it was another Souls game. And then more and more action I kept seeing throughout the trailer, and it kept climbing up and the dodging and stuff. I'm like, hold on, this is like Neo Team Ninja, like a Team Ninja game. But on another level when it comes to animation, because the animation is what made me get hyped for the game, besides the setting being a samurai and stuff like that. The enemies he's fighting, the on rails on the train dodging with the creature attacking him, all that just spoke to me, and it was like, yeah, this is gonna be a day one for me if I see any more of it at a closer release date. And hopefully it looks like this, because you know how things when they show games early, it changes up near the end. I'm hoping that this remains to be that way, or if not better, but I can cross my fingers and hope. Don't know if it's going to turn out that way though. But yeah, Phantom Blade, I don't know if did you peep the studio or no?
I didn't peep the studio, but I looked up because the combat segments were giving me very, very approximately For Honor. With the fluid blocking animations and the combat transitions between swings.
Yeah.
And I looked up the For Honor studio, and it was a Ubisoft.
Yeah, that was
team.
Ubisoft.
So I don't know who's making Phantom Blade. I didn't catch that, but if it's anything like For Honor's combat system with a bit of Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima thrown in there,
Sekiro.
It's going to be a big hit.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just like that game and Lives of P are the ones that's very similar to me, and the ones that I'm stoked for. If it's anything like a Souls-like game with really great animation. Lives of P is more on the Bloodborne side, but this one I guess some people are saying this actually it looked like a Bloodborne 2, but it didn't turn. Who knows? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's not from software, if I'm not mistaken. It's from a different studio. I have to look up, but yeah, it looks incredible, and hopefully it can stay that way during release, because I don't want to switch and bait on me last minute for a game like that. But not only that game, a lot of games. I think that game is not even I don't think it's a first party for PS5 exclusive. If I don't quote me on that, but I have to look that up. But as far as the other games I've seen, Square Enix games and stuff, there's a lot of third-party games besides indie games they showed too. It wasn't too many PS5 exclusives, and then not literally probably only 3 hard dates out of all the games they showed. They didn't show too many release dates, which is another thing that Xbox did in the past. But yeah, it's crazy how they showed all these games and really didn't give off release dates like that. And not to say they don't have exclusives coming out this year. They showed Spider-Man. I'm really hyped for that. We can get into that soon, but it's I don't know. I'm getting Ubisoft vibes. I don't know if it's gonna look like that near the end, and I don't know how ready these games are. But if it's anything like any other first-party studios from PlayStation, I don't think we have too much to worry about. But third party is more so my concern, especially what was the EA game we just talked about? The
Immortals of Avenum.
Avenum, yeah. Yeah, we don't know. Well, I think that's closer. Did I show a release date?
Let me see here. I don't think I saw one.
Yeah, I don't think they have a hard date on that. I feel like it's close though. I don't know why. They showed a lot of that game recently, and it seems like it's almost ready.
They do have a release date.
They do, right?
It is available July 20th, 2023. So it's
okay,
coming
so
soon.
It's literally a month.
Yeah, I think they had a beta out already. I want to say maybe.
I signed up for the beta, but I don't think I got invited. I don't know if they had one out already yet, but yeah, I'm that one is definitely really close. See, because I knew something about that game that I feel like it was more ready than the other games they showed, since they showed a lot of that game already. This wasn't the first one. First trailer they showed for it. So yeah, we'll see about that. The only indie game I'm gonna talk about that, on a passive scale at least, what was the makers of Journey? Whoever made Journey are making Sword of the Deep, and it looks like a mix of freaking Tony Hawk's and Journey, because your sword is a skateboard, some sort, a surfboard or something. You can do tricks on and stuff. It's pretty cool. That caught my eye. And I haven't played Journey since the PS3, but I really enjoyed that game a lot. And I think they redid it. It's just a port for the PS4, and I played it again. But if it's anything like that and more, I'm definitely looking forward to that game. You brought up Foam Star. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I seen the what was it? The urban style outfits, the characters, and them coming up to the middle of the street, I was not expecting them to pull out water guns. I'm gonna say water guns, but whatever. They shoot out bubbles.
Yeah,
it
looks nice, but not much a fan of the cartoony look to them. It looks like they ripped the model straight out of like Fortnite or something.
Splatoon.
And yeah, from the gameplay they showed, it just looks like Splatoon again.
They want their own.
Yeah, it's Sony's way of putting Splatoon on the PlayStation, so hopefully it has something unique and it's not just we took Splatoon and put it on the PlayStation.
Yeah. I don't think so. The impression I got from this trailer and a couple other games and the showcase in general is that they're trying to make games for everyone, and I don't think this game is aimed towards any hardcore PlayStation fanboys or just gamers in general. I think this is more on the scale for kids, obviously, and yeah, I don't know. To each his own. I don't think it's aiming towards any hardcore fan base under PlayStation or any other system for that matter. But yeah,
I mean,
I just
I
shook
don't,
my head.
I don't know if it's gonna do too good a job targeting the child audience either. I mean, the way Splatoon has gotten a bunch of youth audience to play it is because the gameplay is cartoony and the art style is cartoony. And while the characters are cartoony and foam stars, the environment just looks like you took New York City and threw it in. You just had a pre-existing model of New York and you put these Fortnite-looking characters in.
Yeah, and I think the monetization, if that's a free-to-play game, I have no idea. I doubt it. But if it is, since it is a live service, I'm assuming a live service multiplayer game, it's gonna do the same thing possibly as Fortnite. Get some, not on the scale of Fortnite, but like, you know, get some custom characters in from the Square Enix franchise. Who the hell knows? They're gonna mix a lot. But yeah, just get, you know, a bunch of DLC characters and guns in and try to keep the service alive. But I'm thinking that's gonna be like that PlayStation game that came out that was supposed to be like the Twisted Metal of PS5. I forgot the name of it. It was just a car demolition game with characters, similar characters, just like that. I forgot the name. Something Mayhem.
Ringing a bell.
All Stars Mayhem. For those of you who know, you know what I'm talking about.
The Warner Brothers fighting game.
No, that's Multiverses.
No, okay.
But it's not too far from the truth, anyways, because Multiverses also kind of like paused on not development, but the multiplayer servers for like a year or something like that. But yeah, these live service, the depth of live service games is everywhere at this point. And this one is planning to be a next live service games from what it looks like, at least. Good luck to them. It's not for the audience I know of like that, but you know, who knows? Maybe overseas in Japan or a bunch of kids over here in America. I have no idea if they can. Is it a not crossplay? Is it cross-platform on PS4? You think? I think it was just PS5 and well, next gen.
If the graphics are anything like the gameplay clips I saw, there's a very short segment that looks like gameplay. It looks way too advanced for the PS4 to handle.
The foam tech.
The reflections alone and the foam tech would probably make the thing explode. The one clip I see here, I'm like skimming through it with the arrow keys on YouTube. The one frame here is like just flooded with foam. Everything is reflecting light. It would make the PS4 just combust the second you turn this game on.
And the PS4 Pro is already known for like sounding like a jet engine. It's actually gonna start flying with that game. But no, I think it's only next gen only, especially with all the foam tech. I just call it foam tech, but that's what it looks like. But yeah, good luck to them. I don't know what Square Enix is trying, but I guess they tested all waters like they've been doing so far anyway. So we'll see if that, you know, fails or not. But yeah, I just shook my head throughout that whole trailer. Any other games that caught your eye? I'm saving the big ones for last.
Foam Star was my my kind of questionable pick. Yes. Assassin's Creed. I've been a fan of their like the middle games they had. I think it was 4 and Unity I played pretty religiously. They were good. I hope they get back to that style. Not so much Unity, more Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. That was fun. I hope they
the simple ones.
They kind of get that, not the same gameplay obviously, but the same kind of methodology for making an Assassin's Creed instead of just the level up simulator that they've been kicking out with. I think it was, what was it, Odyssey and the other
Odyssey, there's so many. Valheim.
Well, I almost said Vanguard, but that was the awful COD that came out.
Yeah, Valheim. Whatever the name of the other one was. Valhalla. I said Valheim. Shit, not too far from the title. But yeah, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla is the 3 that started the RPG trend for Assassin's Creed formula. Well, the RPG formula for the Assassin's Creed genre. But I did like Odyssey a lot. I think that's probably the most liked one out of the 3 for Assassin's Creed fans that adapted to the RPG the formula. But I do agree that I did want just a simple, I don't have to shake the freaking world or anything like that. I did want a simple Assassin's Creed, just update and advance for next gen technology. Similar to Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood days. Just tell a simple, nice, really good story, hopefully. And we already know the main character from Valhalla. Basim is the main character for this one, and it looks like it's taking place in the Middle East. So you get to play as Aladdin, as an assassin for the first time, which is cool. But yeah, the game does look pretty. It looks promising. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that. I think they just played it safe, and that's a good thing for this game, because I think the game itself is a safe bet if they just make it the way we're envisioning it now from what we took off the trailer. But yeah, that is definitely on my list. Mirage, and I think that was that a date as well? I should have put dates next to my list, but I didn't. I'm not looking for a hard date, but I think that's this year, if I'm correct.
There is a date for Mirage, October 12th.
Okay, so that was another hard date. So it's the games that they already showed before, announced before, they gave out hard dates for, which it wasn't much, but yeah, that's this October 12th. Yeah, that's during the fall. It's close to Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man, they didn't give him a hard date for, but they did say fall. It is supposed to come out this fall, so yeah, we'll see. Alan Wake. Have you played or seen or heard anything from the original Alan Wake?
Never.
Okay, what about Control?
Nope.
Okay, so skipping over this briefly, I enjoyed Alan Wake a lot. I'm a huge fan. I played it in college. There's an episodic chapter format that they use, whereas previously on Alan Wake, every chapter, and I think it's like 5 or 6 chapters, and I played it straight through the first time by myself. It wasn't scary as I thought. It wasn't as scary as I thought, but very, very good story. And I played it again with my college friends, watching me play one chapter per night as if it was an episodic series, which was cool. Huge fan of the first one. Didn't play the American Wasteland DLC or whatever it's called. I think that's Tony Hawk's, honestly, but American Nightmare, that's what I think. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I think it's a story you can easily watch since they played it out in the episodic version of the chapters, and it's a really good story. This one, it seems like they're going for a more creepier, scarier vibe, obviously with the tech that we have these days. Because the first one, you kill people with flashlights, just shining a flashlight and shooting them with a flare gun, I think. Yeah, they're damaged by light, not bullets. But this one seems a bit more horrific, like Evil Within, and I'm all for it to see what happened to Alan after, non-spoilers, he was, off to another distant area, and we haven't seen him again. That's all I'll say for that. But yeah, he's back, and this is all in the same universe as Control as well. You don't need to know about Control, but I guess he was in a DLC of Control, so it's a weird universe. I like Remedy's universe. Remedy has really, really good storytelling in their games. Very dark, but still really good storytelling, like a Stephen King, I guess. That's the closest thing I can compare it to. But I think anybody that's remotely interested in good storytelling in horror games, just check it out. But I think that's also that's October, actually. That's around October, I think, near the end of this year. As far as any other games before the big ones like Spider-Man and aka Metal Gear? Not
Metal
really.
Gear was nice to see. The remake was nice. Never really played the original trilogy, but I messed around with 5 a little bit. It's fun, and I'd like a chance to play the original trilogy.
Yeah, and the original trilogy is coming out with a volume 1. Not the original trilogy, but there's a volume 1 with 3 games. I think it was Metal Gear Solid 1. They're all up-res. They're not remakes, but they're all HD versions of the original, I guess. I don't know how much changes they're gonna do, but 1, 2, and 3. So I guess, yeah, they're somewhat the original trilogy, even though they're not in any order of the story. A proper order of the story, but yeah, Metal Gear Solid's a whole nother bag. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, just like Mass Effect, and Witcher. And when I've seen this, the first part of the trailer, I could not tell what it was. They showed ants crawling. I thought it was some Last of Us. I actually thought it was the Last of Us multiplayer factions, but I guess it was a little too off the hinge and advanced for that type of game. Who knows how that's gonna look, but yeah. Once I seen the alligator trying to eat the bird, then the snake came out, like, holy shit, it's a snake. It's a snake eater. And then I thought to myself, the model of snake and everything looks nice and really, really good and clean. And I'm like, I hope the game is really like looks just like this. Come to find out it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it looks bad, but there's screenshots that came out of the actual gameplay footage, and it looks really good, especially coming from a PS2 game that came out years ago. I think it's been 25th anniversary. I forgot what anniversary is up to, but yeah, it looks really good, and they're supposedly keeping it faithful to the original material without changing up the story, adding anything. They just came out and it confirmed that the voice acting is going to be the exact same audio dialogue, so they're not redoing any voice acting, which is fine. The game already was a great freaking story, and I don't think there's any changes needed. I think people were probably hoping to get a Resident Evil 4 mix in it, where they start adding stuff of quality of life stuff in it, and who knows what they may add. But for the most part, it seems like a faithful recreation from what they showed, and hopefully it stays that way. But if they fucked this up, man. Konami already didn't have any freaking good faithful fans after what they did when the whole Kojima fiasco in the Castlevania franchise. So I don't know. This may be the redemption arc, being that we got a volume 1 of 3 games coming out for the HD up-res versions of it. I'm hoping that there's a volume 2, I guess, if they make enough money off volume 1 and bring out the only Metal Gear game I truly care about getting a remake or port at least, and that's the one that's stuck on the PS3, and that's 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 was definitely the most cinematic one. It had its gripes in the community for having 40-minute long cutscenes, but it was a treat to me, and it's still on the PS3 till this day, sadly.
I mean, I'll speak on all of the indie game platformers with the unique art style at the same time. There's a lot of them out already, so hopefully these ones can bring something unique to the gameplay side.
Yeah,
sure, they'll look beautiful, but if they're a chore to play, it's not even worth releasing them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of... I actually put colorful in parentheses for some of them, like Ultras and stuff. It's pretty, even though I wasn't looking forward to seeing a bunch of indie games during the showcase, it was definitely pleasing to the eye, for me at least, I can say that. But yeah, I don't watch a PlayStation showcase for indie games, sadly. That's what the Game Fest is for, or whatever they're doing with the new E3, or cancel whatever they're changing over there. But yeah, they did show some really unique artistic indie games in the showcase. But Yeah, Ghost Runner 2, a quick mention. I don't know if you played the first one. That was actually pretty unique to me too.
Yeah, I've seen gameplay of the first one. I watched a playthrough the first level. It looks great.
Yeah,
It's like parkour, ninja, just go crazy gameplay. Something almost like Ultra Kill almost.
yeah, you die one, you get hit, you die once, and you restart the next checkpoint or whatever. I would say it's roguelike, but it's not, since if you get hit, you pretty much like rewind to the nearest checkpoint. But it's one of those speedrunner games, which is graphically amazing, of course, on the ray tracing and everything, and all the nits and bits on the PlayStation, the next gen systems, and the PC. But it's also a pretty cool game as far as gameplay as well, with the quick pacing, hack and slash and parkour stuff too. So this one, I seen him driving down a building with a motorcycle. I was like, okay, sign me up. They don't need to show any. They don't really need to show much. They already got a lot of good, faithful fans looking forward to this one, since the first one was so damn good. So showing something as extreme as that with the motorcycle going down the building, it was already enough for me. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as a quick mention. But let's move on to. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. How can I skip this game? Dragon's Dogma 2. Have you played the first one?
Nope.
Okay.
Never played Dragon's Dogma.
Okay. It was the Elden. I'm about to say Elden Ring. It was the Elder Scrolls of Capcom RPG games. It was definitely something that I guess a mix of Monster Hunter and Elder Scrolls. When it comes to the RPG open world. Really, really classic. One of the best RPG games to ever come out, especially from Capcom. And looking forward to this one. It looks like it's all going to be the same, similar formula with more stuff added to it. So they're not trying to change it drastically too much. But chopping the Griffin's head off in midair. Listen. It's already all there. Not much to say about it, but it looks like a great sequel for something that's been out for over 10 years, the first one, which is crazy. Because the first one came out on the PS3. If I'm not, the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Yeah, pretty much. So a lot of people were hyped when they seen that, and it was already rumored before they showed it, but I'm glad they confirmed it with actual gameplay at that for the first, outing on the trailers. So Capcom has just been hitting for the past couple years, man. I don't know. They've been getting their shit straight. Since in the past like four or 5 years with the Resident Evils, because ever since Resident Evil 7, they just been coming out with hits, man. Devil May Cry 5, the Monster Hunter World, everything. It's just, they haven't had a fail yet since that streak. They've been keeping up a really good streak so far, not to my knowledge at least. But last but not least, Five Nights at Freddy's. No, I'm just playing. I have no I have no interest in that game besides gaming. What was it? YouTube channel? Game Theory. One of the very popular
videos.
Yeah. I seen the lore of the story was so-called whatever story they can put together, and that was it. But it's a big what if. But yeah, Spider-Man 2. Have you played the first one?
I have not played the first one.
Oh man, you hit me.
I wanted to. I do not have a PS5.
Well, it's on PC now. But at the end of the day, it's not coming to PC, of course. These PlayStation exclusives, day one.
We usually give it like 2 years before they throw it on a PC.
Not anymore. We already got rumored Ghost of Tsushima and Ratchet & Clank coming out for PC. And Last of Us came out pretty quick. If you think about it, it's only been 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're moving up the delay, the gap in between the release dates for the systems and PC. So that's actually a good thing so far. But yeah, Spider-Man 2 looks incredible. I'm not gonna sit here and say all the incredible things that that I've seen in the trailer. Well, that we know of already, I should say. But I just want it now, and we have to wait over a whole summer for it to come out. But we have Final Fantasy 16, which a reason why I didn't mention it in the list, because that's literally the end of the month. Just like Street Fighter 6 just came out, but we have some games to hold us over, is what I'm saying. Villains that they introduced in this trailer, was not expecting Kraven. I thought this was just going to be a Venom and probably a couple other B-list or C-list villains, but I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and seeing Kraven, we haven't seen Kraven in a Spider-Man game or in any game since the PS2 days of Spider-Man games, like Unlimited or whatever. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying. 360, whatever. There's a lot of Activision Spider-Man games out there, but we haven't seen Kraven take the spotlight like this ever, actually. So, interested to see what they're doing with him. And it looks like a little darker than your average Marvel game, because they showed blood when they showed the lizard, and they had some little horror vibes when Miles Morales was looking for the lizard, but it looks like at the end of the day more of the same game that we already had. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it looks completely like a brand new sequel, but I'm also not gonna sit here and say that the game does need a whole new, it needs to be like a whole new elevation, higher tier than the first one or whatever, showing the quality of work that they already did the first one. I think it's actually playing it safe, but in a good way. I don't care too much about adding a bunch more stuff. The first game was damn near perfect to me, and Miles Morales is even slightly better when it comes to the powers and stuff. So seeing them with the blue lightning now, and the gliding through the air and stuff like that, those are like quality of life stuff to like when it comes to traversal that I didn't ask for, but I'm happy I got. But what do you think about even though I know you didn't play the first one, what do you think about it so far?
I've seen a lot of the gameplay from Spider-Man 1, and it's probably the single best, like, parkour system, Spider-Man simulator, whatever you want to call it. It just, the animations are fluid, it's beautiful, and I hope they can just take that gameplay and wrap a new story around it. Because from what I've heard and what I've seen, gameplay was flawless. If they want a sequel, don't touch the gameplay and just change the story around.
Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much what it is. It's like you can't don't fix what's not broken, but if you add something, be careful what you're adding. And it looks like they're leaning more on the side of not, don't fix what's not broken, pretty much. And they're adding slightly little things like, treats on top. Well, icing on the cake, if you will. So the Venom Dark Suit Spider-Man gameplay, classic. I like the voice of Yuri Lionthal. I forgot. I can't remember his last name. But Yuri, the voice actor, he looked like he nailed the Venom darker Peter Parker voice pretty good. Slight grudge to it. I'm interested to see how that affects him and Miles' situation in the story. And I was thinking that it might have been co-op somewhere down the line, but they pretty much confirmed that it's straight single player. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
you can't ask too much from the single player.
Yeah.
Player.
Yep.
Keep
it on the.
You say multiplayer to Sony, and they'll milk that thing dry until there's nothing left.
Microtransactions, yes. How many we need? Yes. But yeah. I think they keep it on the same quality as Uncharted and stuff like Naughty Dog games. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, we'll see how that game turns out. Obviously, it's going to turn out well, but will it be my game of the year? I don't know. Because the first one didn't get game of the year for me, and I think I forgot what game came out that year. I'm not going to go back and discuss that, but I have a list somewhere of that too. But I don't know if it was God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. I have no idea. I think it was before that, but anyways, yeah. So far, does it have competition this year? Based on if these games make the release date, who knows? But I say this right now, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order It's my game of the year so far. That game was great from start to finish. But we'll see what comes up next.
Survivor.
Jedi Survivor. Wow. Yeah. Mix the titles. Yeah, Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor was definitely a game I swept up pretty much. I binge played the game. Within the EA Pro Pass, I think Play Access or something like that. It's a $15 subscription. I didn't even buy the game, but I am planning on it a little later when I'm ready to replay the game over. But yeah, tons of fun, and it's my game of the year so far. And I wouldn't say that it's a hard game to beat right now, because at least looking at the competition, it may get beaten easily. But it's an early game, so who knows. But yeah, Project Q, that photoshopped handheld that Sony wanted to show with the split DualSense controller. I'm not gonna sit here and make too much fun. I'm not gonna sit here and make fun of it like that. I'm just gonna sit here and say, I'm a question. I wonder how much they're gonna charge for that thing, because it's only a streaming device. I could have made that in Photoshop if I wanted to, or anybody else with novice skills in Photoshop, but it looks slick. Do we need it? No, I don't think so. But if you only could play it in your house and you need a PS5, I don't know. I see them charging $200 to be greedy. I'm gonna say that.
I would say they've got two avenues there. They can either go the route of competing with the Steam Deck, which, from what other companies have put out, nigh on impossible for price to performance ratio, or they can go the route of the Logitech G Cloud handheld thing they threw out into the open that completely flopped, and they had to reduce the price within a month.
Yeah, what was the Logitech doing? Amazon? No, that's a different device. Amazon Luna. Didn't they make a device?
G Cloud.
Okay, so Amazon Luna had their own
G Cloud. It just looks like a white Steam Deck, and it was touted as a competitor to it, and it's got a pretty similar price. Came out originally $350, and
$350?
Yeah, it was a cloud gaming device. You had to already own a gaming PC. Or,
oh my gosh!
I don't know if you could use a console or not, but for $350, if you're trying to punch up at the Steam Deck at, I think it was $400 price point for the basic Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You're trying to punch up at that for $50 less with no dedicated hardware. That's just asking to flop.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whatever this Project Q is, it's got a good price point so that all of its market share is not eaten by the Steam Deck.
I say this. The DualSense alone is $70. The DualSense Pro, whatever the Elite controller version of it, is $200. So keep that in mind when you had a DualSense with a screen, with all its DualSense haptic feedback functions. The worst I can see it being is $250, because you're adding another $50 to a screen on top of a DualSense. Yeah, $250. Because the Elite alone is $200. And then you got the regular ones at $70. So I don't know how much that screen costs, but obviously this is Sony we're talking about, so it may not be reasonable since they try to raise the price of the PS5, but that's probably a whole other issue anyways with the chip shortage and stuff. But yeah, I don't see this succeeding at all, being that you can't even go outside your house and play anything on it. That's the biggest difference between its competitors, and that's the biggest difference between the Steam Deck, because it's not dedicated hardware, and it's something you have to have your PlayStation. You know what? Don't quote me on this. You may be able to play it outside like your Vita if you stream it on your PS5 if it's on the house. Don't know how that's gonna work. If it's a dedicated Wi-Fi receiver on the thing, who knows? But I don't know if it needs a local connection or not. But they didn't say too much about it yet. But yeah,
and if it can do it over the internet, like you can play your PS5 games when you're at work or something.
Yeah.
you're at, I don't know, wherever you are. If you can do it over the internet, that's more compelling. But if you can only do like a LAN connection, if you can only play it in your house, the same house as your computer, why bother? It's like, oh, I want to play my computer on my couch downstairs. Why bother? You can literally do that with
your
just
phone,
about anything. You can do it with any phone that you find at
tablets,
whatever store you go to. You pick one up at Walmart, get it configured in 10 minutes for like $100 cheaper than whatever they're gonna throw out for this thing.
Yeah, I just don't see what makes sense on the price price to hardware comparison. I don't know what's gonna make sense for them, and I don't know what's gonna make sense to us with that. But you know, it's good to go on with doubt first and then be surprised later. So
hopefully
who knows?
It's good, but if it's any higher than 250, the market share is gonna get completely devoured by the Steam Deck.
Yep, competition is getting steep out there at the Steam Deck handheld market. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good time to come out right now based on what's out there or what's coming out there with the Asus Alloy, the ROG Alloy Ally, and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see. But not holding my breath. But speaking of not holding my breath, we are wrapping up since we're almost pretty much out of time here. But thanks for joining, and Nick, I appreciate you coming by for the first time. Hopefully not the last, when we have bigger topics to discuss other than catching up on what we watch. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's controversy always in the air with the gaming studios these days, and they seem like they're not stopping anytime soon with the microtransactions and stuff. So thanks for joining, and guys, take care, enjoy your Diablo and Street Fighter, and see you in the next one.